everybody, it's me, Jill, and welcome to Jill Informed. This is the recap of The Real Housewives of Orange County, Season 12, Episode 17, A Case of the Vickis. We start this episode exactly where we left off last week. Vicky is not feeling well. 911 was called and the police arrived first. And finally, the doctor arrives. And maybe you guys can answer this. Why is Peggy the one who is communicating all the information to the doctor? Surely there is somebody with a better grasp of the English language. But no, Peggy is there on the job. The doctor is trying to ask Vicky questions, and Peggy keeps interrupting like, will you just treat her? You know the doctor would like to just say, quiet. Let me figure out what's wrong with her and I can figure out how to treat her. At one point, Tamara shows up and she pushes her way through all the whole medical team, and she sits down in the bed and she's like, Vic, what's wrong? What's going on? There's like a team of first responders all around this bed. Vicky's laying there and she goes, I don't feel good. You think? So, like I said, all these people are there, and Peggy's on the other side of the bed. Peggy has the nerve to ask some of this medical team, there's too many people in the room. Can some of you leave? How about Tamara, Megan, Kelly, and you get out? Not the medical team. And Friedrich. Oh, did I not tell you this guy wants to be a housewife? Friedrich is also in the room. The doctor did finally kick everybody out of there, including Frederick. There's a lot of this kind of back and forth between Kelly and Peggy for role of who's Vicky's best friend. I was helping. No, I was helping. I'm helping her more. I'm not going to leave her side. Okay, girls. Calm down. There's enough Vicky to go around. Even Shannon, who cannot stand Vicky, pushes her way in. Oh, I have to get in there. I have to get in there because if she's having a panic, she knows I've had the same thing. I have to get in there. That might have been helpful if nobody was around, but there's actually a real doctor in the room. I don't even know how to describe the next 5 minutes of this show. In fact, I would say to you, if you haven't watched this episode, or even if you have, go back and watch the first 8 minutes of this show over again, because there is a lot going on. So they find out that they're going to take Vicky to the hospital to do some tests, and she gets wheeled out in this gurney, sitting up. She's sitting up, thank God, because she's got a hotel bathrobe over her head, covering her whole body. If she were prone, it would look like a dead body was being wheeled out of that room. But she's sitting up. It is so bizarre. Some of the ladies are making comments like, I mean, is she worried about the paparazzi? What's going on? And they get her all the way down the stairs and stuff. And then when they get outside, she takes it off. For whose benefit was that covering your head? I have no idea. So weird. Vicky's getting put into the back of the ambulance. And Peggy just keeps saying, you're fine, you're fine. And Kelly goes, no, you might not be fine, Vicky. You might be having a heart attack. Oh, what? This is what I'm talking about. It was absolutely surreal. Megan's like, I gotta eat something. And Kelly's like, yeah, me too, I'm starving. So they go to the restaurant. Peggy's acting like, how could anybody eat when their friend is going to the hospital? She goes up to her room. Lydia comes down to the restaurant and says, okay, I've got a car waiting out in front. Let's go to the hospital. And Megan and Kelly are like, we gotta eat. And she's like, okay, well, that's fine. That's your decision. I'm gonna go. And then she says, so maybe when you're done eating, you'll come and then I can leave. And Kelly's like, yeah, that's good. We'll take shifts. Which it actually is a good idea because they don't all need to be sitting around the hospital either. But Lydia doesn't really think that's a good idea. Lydia just said that. And really, Lydia thinks they're selfish for not coming with her. Shannon and Tamara now come into the restaurant. I will say this. This was not, I need to grab a quick bite and then I will meet you guys at the hospital, which is what they could have done. This was no lie like a 2-hour meal. They're ordering drinks and appetizers and And by the way, this whole thing is exactly what happened last season when they flipped the dune buggy and Vicky was airlifted to a hospital and the girls called Shannon and Megan to tell them, and they didn't go to the hospital, and that was a whole big kerfuffle about that. And this is like exactly the same thing happening again. I don't get it. Just go. Eat if you have to eat, but eat something quick and go to the hospital. So they're all sitting down there. Meanwhile, I'm wondering, why didn't Lydia wait for Peggy, who thought everyone should be having like a bedside vigil at the hospital? Peggy is upstairs in her room calling Deco because she doesn't know what to do. I probably shouldn't laugh, but this was what the phone call went like. Deco answers. First thing she says is, "I'm okay." And Deco goes, "Then why are you calling?" And she says, "Vicky wasn't feeling well. Her heart, she felt heavy. And with the tingling in her arm," and Deco's like, "Oh, okay, you know, I hope she's okay." And she's talking real slow, and an ambulance took her. I wanted to go with, but they did not let me. So Deco says, "Well, just get a cab and go." I don't know why Peggy couldn't figure that one out on her own, but okay. So she comes down to the restaurant and she tells them she's gonna go. And Kelly goes, "Oh, we're going in shifts. Wait 2 minutes for me. I'm going too." And Peggy's like, "I'm going now." And she goes, "You can wait 2 minutes for me." But she just keeps eating, slowly eating and enjoying herself. And finally Peggy's like, "I'm gonna go." "Oh my God, why can't you wait for me? We're going in shifts." She says, "Deco told me to go." Now the ladies are making a big deal about, "Oh, would you do anything he said? If he told you to jump, would you say how high?" "He did not tell me to jump." I love how she turns on and off when she understands a phrase and when she doesn't. If she would have just said, "I just want to go now," instead of like saying, "Deco told me to go now." Like it's not her fault. Deco told me to. Well, that's what the ladies are like getting all crazy about. So she takes off and the ladies are now on like hour 2 of their dinner. And I think it was Tamara's phone that rang and it was Lydia and Vicky. And she was all done. They were waiting for the results of an EKG and some blood work, but they were releasing her. They told her Peggy's on her way, so they said they're gonna wait for Peggy and then they're gonna come back to the hotel. So the 4 of them decide that they should get a casserole for her. So the restaurant made a casserole for Vicky to give her when she gets back. So before she gets back, Vicky tells the confession cam that her diagnosis was elevated blood pressure. So no heart attack. And even Lydia says to the confession cam, "So yeah, they didn't really find anything. I think she just came down with a case of the Vickis. Weren't you the one that was berating the other women for not taking it seriously enough? Only to find out you never really even thought it was anything serious either? And that Vicky's just dramatic?" Okay, Lydia. So they get back to the hotel. It's like 12:30 in the morning and the ladies are in the lobby and they give her the casserole and everyone's sitting around in the lobby talking and Lydia's like, "I'm going to bed." So she takes off. Then they bring the whole party into Shannon's room and these ladies were up till like 5 in the morning. Lots going on here, okay? They're all sitting around. It seems like they're all kind of getting along. And then Tamara and Vicky have a moment. It seems at first like they're starting to rehash the old fight. But, you know, there's nothing like a near-death experience to put things in perspective. So they are going deep and they're really talking about things and Tamara breaks down. Basically says, I think, why she's so incredibly hurt. And that is, she thinks Vicky chose Brooks over her. Vicky says to the confession cam, "I mean, why can't I have both? Why did it have to be an either or?" And okay. She's not saying you can't have a significant other. She's not making you choose between Steve and her. Come on, Vicki. Do you really not understand? She was telling you Brooks was a liar and you did not believe her. You chose to believe him over her, someone that you've known a lot longer than you've known Brooks. That's what she was hurt by. And so anyway, she just really breaks down crying and they're hugging and Kelly's like, oh, isn't that sweet? Which it really wasn't, because like Tamara was a mess. And Tamara's like kneeling down at Vicki's feet. It did look kind of pathetic. And Shannon, I mean, I give her credit for staying as quiet as she did for as long as she did. But she almost, I mean, she's bursting at the seams to get involved in this thing. And she's whispering to Megan on the couch, that is making me sick. Seeing Tamara like that is making me sick to my stomach. It was a little bit like Vicki was the queen sitting in a chair and Tamara's kneeling at her feet. I sort of know what she means. It looked a little one-sided. I kind of get what she means. So she can't keep herself quiet anymore and she gets involved and Vicki gets mad and Vicki's like, I'm out of here. So she gets up and leaves. And apparently the ladies were still talking even longer, long enough for Kelly and Peggy to get into it again. The next morning, Tamara is up with her wooden clogs going to say good morning to everybody and asking if they're going to go shopping. And everyone goes shopping except Peggy. Peggy won't answer her phone and she won't answer the door. So they all go out on a big shopping spree, and even Shannon and Vicki are kind of goofing around with each other. Lydia says to Shannon, hey, you know, baby steps, but it's kind of nice that you seem like you're having a good time with Vicki a little bit. Shannon, just take the olive branch. Just say yes. I am getting along with her. I'm still struggling, but I am having fun. Just say that. But no, she's got to make sure that Lydia knows she's trying to have a good time because they're on a trip. Well, we're on a trip. We're just on a trip. But I don't really forgive her for anything. And of course, Lydia's going to walk away from that going, oh God, why do I even talk to this woman? So when all the ladies get back to the hotel after their shopping trip, Vicki, Tamara, and I think Lydia go to Peggy's door and they're knocking on the door because they had all bought these like little fur headband things that were actually cute. And they bought one for Peggy. So they're knocking on her door and she's not answering. And for like a split second, I thought we were going to find out that she left and went back home. You know, she's not answering. They're going, hey, I have a present for you. No, she's not answering. And finally, Lydia says, it's me, honey. You got to at least let us know you're alive, okay? And then you hear, I'm okay, but I need a few minutes. And Lydia goes, you had all day. I'm just not ready. I need more time. So they're like, okay. So the ladies leave to go get ready, I think for dinner, but that's where this episode ends. Thank you so much for joining me. Come on back every Monday at 1 p.m. Central Time for the next recap of the Real Housewives of Orange County. Please subscribe if you haven't. Please click that thumbs up if you liked this video and comment down below. I'd love to hear from you guys. Till next week. Bye-bye.